Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. I hope you enjoyed our lesson yesterday about the Pony Express and how mail was delivered back long ago. Today we're going to be talking about an expedition. And remember, an expedition is how people explored back then. They went and they looked at things that they didn't know where things were or what things were a long time ago, because a lot of the land that we live on now was not known. Nobody knew what was here. So we're going to be learning and reading about an expedition called Lewis and Clark Expedition. So I'm sharing my screen with you. And the Lewis and Clark Expedition was about two men who were exploring, remember, looking the western part of the United States. So let's read about them. Ready? Lewis and Clark. Meriwether Lewis and William Clark explored the western part of the United States. President Thomas Jefferson gave them a mission to travel to the Pacific Ocean and back. During their trip, they had to map out the land, explore the area, and report back their findings. America had just purchased the Louisiana Territory from the French, and they had no idea what was out there. So America, you guys, actually got this land that's in America now, Louisiana, and they bought it from the French, and so they had no clue what was actually there. So Lewis and Clark were going to visit and see what was going on. Lewis was Jefferson's private secretary. He invited his good friend, William Clark, to come. So you guys, Lewis was President Thomas Jefferson's secretary. That means that he was somebody who took down notes for him. And Lewis invited William Clark to come with him to help him search on this new land. To help them on their journey, they brought a team of 31 men called the Corps of Discovery. These men were trained and brought all the supplies and equipment they would need to survive on their expedition. They also brought glass beads and other things that they could trade with Native Americans. Notice, you guys, there's a question here. What supplies did they bring for their journey? We can go back and answer that by looking here. Okay, these men were trained and brought all kinds of supplies and equipment, there it is, they would need to survive. They also brought glass beads and other things they could trade with Native Americans. All right. Ooh, a star. When you guys get done with this video and you go to your Google Slides, you can click on this star and you can go watch a video about the expedition, but after you do your work. The Lewis and Clark expedition began in 1804, and it started in St. Louis, Missouri. Same thing as the Pony Express. They met a lot of Native American tribes along the way. One Native American they met was named Sacagawea. She knew how to speak several languages and joined the expedition as an interpreter. An interpreter is somebody who communicates with different languages, kind of like our friends who are Farsi and Dari and Pashto, and even Russian, Ukrainian. If you don't know how to speak English, we have people like Mr. Syed and Miss Sammy who help those kids communicate and help talk in their language. So Sacagawea helped many travelers with interpreting. She helped the travelers in many ways because she knew which plants were safe to eat and guided them to the safest routes to follow. One of their most dangerous treks was across the towering Rocky Mountains. Finally, a year and a half later, the team reached the Pacific Ocean. Then they headed home in March of 1806. Lewis and Clark were the first to reach the Pacific Ocean by land and gave the first accurate maps of the Northwest. So you guys have true and false questions here, and then important people. So here, true or false? President Thomas Jefferson gave them a mission to travel to the Pacific Ocean and back. Was that true or false? If it was false, you would put that here. I can move it back. If it was true, you can put that there. America just purchased the Louisiana Territory from the French, and they had no idea what was out there. Is that true or false? To help them on their journey, they brought a team of 300 men called the Corps of Discovery. Is that true or false? 300 men. One of their most dangerous treks was sailing across the Pacific Ocean. Is that true or false? We might find that back in the reading, and you can go back and read that yourself if you want to, or listen to the video again. Sacagawea joined the expedition as an interpreter. Remember, somebody to communicate and guide them to the safest routes to follow. True or false? And the last one, they were the first to reach the Pacific Ocean by land. and gave the first accurate maps to the Northwest. True or false? Then, important people. You want to move these boxes, my friends, to the areas over here. Okay, but remember, look at the pronouns, excuse me. His. Is his going to be Sacagawea? No. They hired her as an interpreter or translator so they could communicate easily with the Native Americans. She served as a guide, showing them the best and safe routes to take through the mountains. It might be her because it says her, right? Now, these two are going to be tricky. His responsibilities during the expedition were to keep records of everything they saw and the new people they met. He also made over 140 maps of this unexplored area, right? Or he was the commander of a special expedition called the Corpse Discovery. He was sent by President Jefferson. So who was the one sent by President Jefferson? Was it Meriwether Lewis or Clark? One of them was just the responsibility of going along. One of them was actually sent by Jefferson. Okay? So remember, you can watch the video of the star on the expedition when you're done with your assignment, okay? And make sure to turn it in when you're finished. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow for our next lesson. Have a good rest of your day, you guys. Bye.